This is Killer Mike, also known as Michael Render. 1965 Voters' Rights Act just got gutted. They gutted it.
Yo, free grift giveaway, come get it. Run around the block.
Here for the free grift giveaway. Y'all got any more that grift?
What's up, YouTube? Drill Sergeant here. And can we first give a hand clap, a round of applause to Reese Waters? I don't know where he got that AI Candace Owens from, but that was amazing. Yo, you're the king, you're the master, we bow. But as hilarious as that is, today we're talking about a completely different type of grift. Not like Candace Owens, who shines white people's shoes to get a pat on the head like a good dog. Today we're talking about the pro-black militant Hotep grift. Yeah, that's Killer Mike. That's him. It's a whole different type of grift. That's a grift that is not as much for money as it is prestige, as it is getting invited to the round table, to this talk, to this meeting, to this governor's office, because you sound like you have some sort of insight, some sort of enlightenment in your pro-blackness and your Hotepness. But the truth is, it's all about you. And it's all about you're getting that, what is it, a rush? You're getting that prestige, that invite, that position at the top of the black people's list, when really you belong in the trash heap. This is what he had to say, and I'm going to tell you why he's that.
Hey, what's up? Onyx Impact, Black Male Initiative. This is Killer Mike, also known as Michael Render. 1965 Voters' Rights Act just got gutted. They gutted it. They literally eviscerated it, and it's now trying to make it easier, or allowed it to be easier, for states to redraw district lines to annex those most in need out. This is not just black people and African Americans. This is poor people. So based on where you are, the more poor people that can chop you up, they can make sure you aren't voting on the behalf of the poor and the interest. They can make sure that it affects your schools. They can make sure it affects your jobs. They can make sure it affects every part of your life. So right now, you need to be putting pressure on our local politicians and local municipalities not to do this. You need to be putting pressure to make sure that those like you and like your neighbors still have the ability to exercise the full constitutional rights of voting, and it being effectively not eviscerated and us being taken back to Jim Crow. So we're going to start the largest voter initiative possible this fall. We're going to get people out to the polls. We're going to beat up those midterms, and going forward, we're going to do more than just march and protest. We're going to go to the polls. We're going to change the people who are in office. We're going to get those laws back changed in the favor of the people. This is Michael Render. Stay tuned. We're going to do something plot, plan, strategize, organize, and mobilize big.
Oh man, that sounds good. We do need to be mobilizing people of YouTube, especially black folks, especially after that ruling. He's 100% correct. The unfortunate part is, it's your fault. It's your fault, Killer Mike. You and the people like you that were even in this mess. Don't nobody want to hear what you have to say, because we remember this.
Let me tell you a big reason I would never vote for a prosecutor. Because you were a fucking prosecutor. That's it. If you were a prosecutor, you were just on the wrong side. So as for me and my household, we vote for defenders, we vote for public service, but we don't vote for prosecutors, because I know you've been a part of the system that's already fucked me over. Why would I vote for you?
How's that working out for you? How's that working out for you, Killer Mike? You don't vote for prosecutors. Weren't you the one telling people that they need to vote for their local prosecutor because that's the one who's going to try the case? So what? After you vote for your local prosecutor, they can't go nowhere else? What's the point? What's the point? That's not the worst part. That part is horrible. And yeah, it had an effect on this ruling that you're telling people to be mobilized for. But why this is your fault isn't even that. That's just the tip of the iceberg, you see? Because I remember this.
Why didn't you support Hillary Clinton?
I just don't believe in her leadership.
Even when Trump was the alternative? The only question where you didn't. Why?
I just don't. Look, okay, Libya. Who was Secretary of State when we went into Libya?
Hillary Clinton.
Who's the president? Barack Obama.
Yeah.
What happened after Libya fell? Slavery got reinstituted. What do those people look like? Me.
The fuck you talking about, Hotep? You fake militant piece of trash. That's what the Hotep grifter does. You pull out some sort of historical fact that you think makes you look smart. In all reality, what you just said was, was the Secretary of State in someone else's administration and something bad happened to people who look like you, you're okay with Trump getting in. What do the people who are now affected by losing the Voting Rights Act look like then? Smart guy? Huh? You see, it turns out in the real world, not in your comic book, Black Panther, wannabe, Hotep, militant world, the person who becomes president gets to appoint the Supreme Court judges, and then those Supreme Court judges get to decide on things like the Voting Rights Act. Idiot. While you shrug? That looked real cool, man. Real comic book cool. Real Hotep King stuff. These are the judges who just voted down the Voting Rights Act that you're talking about galvanizing and mobilizing against. These three.
I, Amy Coney Barrett, do solemnly swear.
I, Brett M. Kavanaugh, do solemnly swear.
I, Neil M. Gorsuch, do solemnly swear that
All three of those judges were voted in because Trump was president instead of Hillary Clinton. And this is your response. That's your response. It doesn't look so cool, so kingly, so Hotep anymore. You stupid, ignorant, narcissistic idiot. This is your fault. You did this. See, you go around and act like you mean this.
Hey, let me tell you right now. Look at this. Look, freedom is at stake. And when they say freedom is at stake, what's at stake? Your constitutional rights are at stake. Your privileges are at stake. Your ability to get medical care if you're a woman is at stake.
Oh, man, you too? That sounds good. Except for the fact that in reality, when it comes push to shove, when it comes time to make the right decision, this is what you voted for.
Is Roe a super precedent?
How would you define super precedent? And I'm answering a lot of questions about Roe, which I think indicates that Roe doesn't fall in that category. And scholars across the spectrum say that doesn't mean that Roe should be overruled. But descriptively, it does mean that it's not a case that everyone has accepted and doesn't call for its overruling.
Yeah, that's Supreme Court Judge Amy Coney Barrett, who voted down the Roe v. Wade that you said you love so much. This is your actual response. Black Panther, cartoon character. Welcome to the real world. That was your response. I'm sorry. There was also this.
A judge, it is an important precedent of the Supreme Court. By it, I mean Roe v. Wade and Planned Parenthood versus Casey. Been reaffirmed many times. Casey is precedent on precedent, which itself is an important factor.
That's Supreme Court Justice Brett Kavanaugh, who lied to Congress saying that he wasn't going to vote down Roe v. Wade and then did anyway. Can you tell me, pro-black militant Hotep, what administration put that justice in? Was it Trump? It's a good thing you didn't vote for Clinton. It's a good thing you didn't vote for her because of Libya when she wasn't president. Awesome. One more.
Senator, as the book explains, the Supreme Court of the United States has held in Roe versus Wade that a fetus is not a person for purposes of the 14th Amendment. And the book explains that.
Do you accept that?
That's the law of the land. I accept the law of the land, Senator.
That's Neil Gorsuch. I'm sorry, Supreme Court Justice Neil Gorsuch, who lied to Congress and said that he wouldn't vote against the Voting Rights Act, Freudian slip, Roe versus Wade, that you said that you care about so much as you were telling the people, galvanizing them to vote for the person you wanted them to vote for or nothing else. And they were a Trump nominee. Aren't you happy that you told people that Hillary Clinton wasn't up to your standards while turning around making a video about how much you care about Roe v. Wade? You're a grifter. You may not see it like that. You're not like Candace Owens running around for The Rock. Maybe not. Dang, Reese Waters, you killed it with that. I don't know where you found it. Yeah, you're not that. But you're doing it for the invite. For that stupid picture you got to take at Governor Kemp's house. You put those justices in with a shrug. I'm starting to think that you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. And people are giving you way more credit than you deserve. That's what it looks like to me, because that's what the results say. And you're wondering why they're not listening to you about galvanizing and organizing. We were doing that anyway. Shut up. Shut your mouth. Shut your dirty trash mouth. You have no right to speak in these spaces anymore. I'm starting to think, matter of fact, I'm starting to think that it's not just because you're an idiot. Someone else has the same idea too.
Did you know that Killer Mike has a history of not supporting women running for political office? He didn't support Keisha Lance Bottoms' run for mayor. He supported her opponent, Vincent Fort. And Fort had a pretty progressive platform, so that's not the problem. The problem here is Mike's pattern. His support around Stacey Abrams was questionable because he was also in support of Republican Governor Brian Kemp. He was against Hillary when she was running against Trump, even after he knew that Bernie Sanders didn't have a chance to win the presidential election. He was against Kamala's run against Trump and even platformed RFK Jr. during this presidential campaign. And now he's complaining about what's happening to the Voting Rights Act.
Oh, well, far be it from me to make assumptions like that, but it is a pattern. It is a pattern. And it's a pattern that's followed by quite a few pro-black militant hotep grifters, grifting for clout and that leadership position, stroking their ego on a constant basis. Huh? It sure is a pattern. Yeah, this is your fault. You failed. You failed. Well, now that we know that you're the reason black people are suffering and will no longer accept you opening your mouth in these spaces. Just for clarification, YouTube, for you out there who are saying to yourself, well, you know what, this whole Kamala thing, I'm not sure that she could have done anything about it. Well, the difference is it wouldn't have happened if she was president. The reason why there's redistricting going on is because of this.
Texas, late today, President Trump saying Republicans are, quote, entitled to those additional seats, citing his victory in that state. Democratic lawmakers fleeing the state, trying to keep this from happening.
President Trump now arguing Republicans are entitled to 5 more House seats there because he won the state.
Voting has consequences, you fake grifter, you egomaniac. See, after he called for that, California called for more. Virginia called for some. Louisiana called for some. And the whole plan was, get this now, written in Project 2025, that they were going to be calling for this so they could take it to the Supreme Court so that they could get the Voting Rights Act put down. You voted for that by telling people not to vote for the prosecutor because she was going to be holding you down. You're a failure. How's that working out for you, dummy? You care nothing about the people. You tell yourself you do. I believe that you actually believe in what you're saying. That makes you this much better than Candace Owens, because she hates herself and black folks everywhere. You, on the other hand, you really do love yourself, and you love how being a leader of black people makes you feel. You're just not willing to take that next step, to actually do things to help black folks if it doesn't help you in return as well. That's the truth. Nobody wants to hear you. Shut up. Close your mouth. Close your garbage mouth when it comes to anything about this. Shut up, Killer Mike. You failed. You're a failure. Not just because you're the one who thought that you could just shrug at Trump's first term. Meanwhile, when during his first term, all the justices that made this poor decision were put in. You're failed. Not just because it seems like anybody who has breasts, you find a way not to like them. That's a failure. And not just because you decided to talk about the prosecutor while telling people to vote for their local prosecutors and got the guy in who started this whole gerrymandering thing that got it to the Supreme Court that has now taken away the black people's right to vote, i.e. the Voting Rights Act. That's because you're a failure. But the deepest part is not just because you failed those 3 times in those 3 aspects, but because in life, you're a failure because you don't understand even the reason why we vote. Allow me to let the king tell you why. The person whose back it was that the Voting Rights Act was built on.
You met with the president and he said, I know you need Voting Rights Act, but I just don't have the power. And so every argument that Dr. King gave, President Johnson's answer was, I agree with you, but I just don't have the power. And the reason he didn't have the power was the country was divided, so divided over Vietnam. That didn't seem to bother Dr. King at all. And so when we got outside, I said, you know, the president is probably right. He ignored me and just kept saying, no, we got to get the president some power. The 7th of March was, I think, the date. It was a panic. They were beating up people. I knew they were capable of doing that, but I thought they were smarter than to do that in front of all of the national press. That made America say, no, this is not the way we want to act. And it gave Lyndon Johnson the power he needed to introduce a Voting Rights Act.
Dr. King understood that he didn't vote for a best friend. He didn't vote for someone who would come to his barber shop. He didn't vote for someone because they were a prosecutor or because they weren't racist or didn't do a racist thing. Lyndon B. Johnson was racist as the rest of them. What he did was vote for the person who he said, we can get power for them. Because after we vote, we're going to spend the rest of the 4 years marching to get it. You stupid, ignorant fool. You're not voting for a prosecutor. You're voting for someone who you can push in a direction the way that you think should be going for your people in your community, not folding your arms like a baby so the other person can come in and take it all away. You stupid idiot. Shut up. Shut your mouth. You failure. Shut your stupid, dirty mouth. Never speak about politics again. You seem to think you vote in friends. Dr. King understood you vote in allies. He was told, no, we can't do the Voting Rights Act. Dr. King didn't say, well, then I'm going to fold my arms. He said, I know that I can vote in the guy who says that he wants this done. He just doesn't have the power to do it yet. So my job is to get him the power to do that. You could have done that with Kamala, but no, you'd rather be a fake-ass, Hotep militant, cartoon fucking Black Panther character with undeserved clout. Shut up. Shut your dirty mouth. And for the rest of you, I'll see you in D.C. so maybe we can start to correct some of the things that this dummy has put into play by using his gigantic platform to tell people not to vote for the prosecutor and not to vote for the fucking white person who failed Libya when she wasn't president because he wasn't strategic enough or willing to let go of his ego for long enough to care about what would come next, because he has been living under the umbrella of someone like Dr. King, and he forgot that he could lose it all by folding his arms. All that money in that barbershop, in his wing shop, in his seafood shop, you forgot why you have it. Well, now the rest of us are going to learn, because you thought that voting for your friend was more important, or you thought that standing on some cartoon business would make you look good. When people like Dr. King understood, you don't have a choice between the non-racist and the racist. They're all been racist. You choose the one who you think you could push more, and that wasn't Trump, so you failed. See the rest of you in D.C., June 28th to July 4th.
Also, direct action means maybe you need to be throwing some dildos. I didn't say throwing, I'm sorry, holding, playing. The dildo distribution people, yeah. You haven't seen them? Go to closertotheedge.com. I'm going to put the link in there that shows you the whole thing that they're doing. It's amazing. But they're using these, and they've got thousands of them now because they realize that they're so effective at warding off these ICE agents at Whipple in Minneapolis. And now around the nation, they're giving these away to people. They're passing them out because that absurdity in the face of this toxic masculinity seems to be the one thing that gets these ICE agents to back off. It actually works. So I want to help them get those donations for the thousands that they've bought, also the thousands were donated to them as well. But for the ones that they bought, they need to get that money back, and they need to keep this going because it's working. If nothing else, just to piss off those ICE agents. Email me, politicaldrain@proton.me. politicaldrain@proton.me. You email me, say, I want to donate, and I will give you the instructions on how to do so, because the time to fight is now.
Hey, yeah, you. Before you click away to watch someone unbox a tactical toothbrush, let's talk about something real. Political Drain isn't just another content mill. We're a digital front in a very real war. Not with bullets, but with ideas, with action, and with solidarity. We pair urgent news with critical education. And we build community around actual resistance, not the hashtag kind. The kind that moves. But here's the thing. None of this is free. It isn't. Behind every video is time, labor, research, and some weird guy asking if we're gonna pay the hosting bill. And yeah, some of that money goes to things we can't necessarily say out loud. If you know, you know. Let's just say our special ops aren't Call of Duty LARPers. They're people making real moves to protect, uplift, and organize. You're not just funding a channel. You're funding a resistance network in a world where capital still calls the shots. Unfortunately, in a system built on artificial scarcity, even mutual aid has a price tag. And if we want to grow, if we want to win, we need your help. We need your help. So if you've got even a few bucks to spare, toss it our way. It's not for ads, it's not for merch drops, but for people making moves in the shadows so others can do it in the light. It's just us and you. So fund the mission, fund the fight, fund the future, because nobody's coming to save us. We save each other. That's how this works.